We're back now with the last game of tonight. There's no do-overs this time, so Infinity, you better win if you want to secure this best of 3 after a crazy game 2. Thunder Awakens to be more motivated than ever to try to beat Infinity because this point is crucial if they want to make it to that major. Let's see what the draft has here for us. Once again, oh, this time Thunder Awaken, they steal a Shadow Demon. Duster, my Panda's long lost lover. Tell me about the Shadow Demon for Panda. Is it as good as the other safe heroes he plays?
10 seconds.
Yes, because he is a bit more offensive hero than other. For example, if you pick Abaddon, you deal no damage. Shadow Demon can do a lot of damage, so he's a save and attack at the same time, so he's really nice.
Do you think his playstyle is suited for the Shadow Demon as well, or do you think he's playing too much on the defensive side when he plays his hero?
I think his playstyle fits Shadow Demon nice, because he's a very good spellcaster, and Shadow Demon is all about spamming all his spells, and Panda does it really well.
Okay. Astidi, what do you think of picking a DP into the Shadow Demon?
I think that shows how broken the hero is, that you can pick the hero into one of the biggest counters, if not the biggest one.
Yep.
But still good. So I think the hero is good. Yeah, I don't care playing DP against anything. That's why the hero has been banned most of the matches we watch. It's a hero that they can play 5, 3, 2. Also Tiny is a flex, so they have a good draft as of now.
Do you plan on? Do you think if the DP is picked against Shadow Demon, she's still viable as a mid, or do you like her more in the 3 or 4 or 5 positions?
I still think you can play as a mid. I think the hero is just too strong. And maybe with more items you can even survive better. With more level, more XP. So as long as you also have other tools, like you need maybe this tiny mid. Okay, then it's not a DP mid, but let's say you have a DP3, still a core, but you have a tiny to jump on the Shadow Demon. It's like about having the right tools on your team also.
Okay. What about the Battle pickup? It had a lot of impact last game. One of Dark Mago's favorite heroes as well. Where's the strength of this hero so early in the draft?
The hero is good against DP, the hero is good against Tiny. So you don't really want to play either of them against Bat on the lane, which you already kind of force Infinity, let's say, a bit out of their comfort. If you're forcing 2 heroes that could be mid, out of the mid position, and it's just like Dark Mago Batrider, he doesn't care. He can play against even Abaddon mid, that he's gonna have a good time. So, like...
You remember that,
Yeah. So, they're playing their strengths, right? So, I like it, and also because it feels like Dark Mago, he's been really focusing on playing either Tiny or Kunkka, and the other team picked Tiny. Infinity already banned Kunkka, so it's good to secure his hero now, before he has like no options, or just like not so comfortable options.
Duster, would you like this Tiny once again to go carry? Because I know you're not a fan of the mid or 4 Tiny. Do you think that's the best position right now for him?
No, not against Shadow Demon. He's gonna be kited very hard with the slows and stuff.
So what's the option? Is it 4?
It lanes pretty well with DP, that's for sure.
Okay.
I just have a feeling like Thunder Predator got traumatized by last game, because that's the first time they pick Batrider so early on, even though it's Dark Mago best hero.
On the last season they were doing it, but it was usually when the other team like banned Abaddon, because that's what's so cool about their draft. You ban like Abaddon because you don't want to see Panda on that hero, and then they have a free Batrider. But yeah, it's been a while.
Last season they were mostly second phasing it though, not first phasing it. Sorry, Duster, you were saying, by the way.
Yeah, he should be really traumatized, in my opinion, to do this, because it's definitely not their comfort strat. It's the first time they did it in all the games.
Do you find that is a sign of confidence that they're bringing out the big guns, or more like, oh, they're desperate and they're trying to find out a new strategy here?
Desperate? No, I think they're in the position of 3rd game where they just want to be on their comfort zone. So even though it might not be the greatest Batrider game, you just secure your mid laner favorite hero, for example, and you're gonna be happy.
What about the Snapfire here, Steve? What are they even thinking of putting the Snapfire here? Like, what would you use it here for?
I don't see that much value on the hero, honestly. as they all do in Division 1, I say. But it's a hero that's also a flex between position 3, position 5, mid lane. So you don't give away so much information about your draft. And then you can, like, if they go for, I would say a carry now, but they can go for any hero that they still have a last pick that they can fit so far any role. So if they want a last pick at position 5, they can fit in their draft. You want a last pick at 4, 3, 2, 1, anything is possible.
Yeah, Infinity, to bring up a pick that has been banned previously, the Pangolier, was a really good idea last game. I think Papita was thinking about it. What's the... It's a bit weird to me to see the Pango against Batrider and Shadow Demon, no? Or...
What it looks like is a very strong team fight. That's what I get from their draft so far. I don't get much information because, again, any hero can be any role. Of course, it
Yeah.
feels like a Pangolier on Papita, but like it can be a Snapfire on Papita, can be a DP on Papita. So the only conclusion I get is there's a lot of team fight and a lot of Roche team fight and a lot of Roche potential with the DP, which is something that they show they can do really well. Maybe that Aegis still was the turning point. We had so much turning points on that game, and having a good Roche team fight means a lot.
Do you think that this much flex could lead to a bit of a Beast Ghost situation where they flex too much and all of a sudden their draft doesn't look as good? Or do you find this draft is consistent and cohesive?
I am always afraid, like on my own team, when I'm so flexed that it comes to the last pick and you're kind of lost on your own flex. You'll not only made the other team not understand your draft, but yourselves. So it could be good that they already have on their side a good idea about what they want. Like that they don't want to wait to the last pick to decide, okay, do you pick a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? No, it's like, oh, it's a tiny carry. So what mid laner are we playing? Something like this. Or definitely it's not a tiny carry and we need a carry. Let's just think about the carry. Because then you mislead the other team, but not yourself.
Once again, Thunder Awaken chose the first pick, so they will be picking first in this last part. What do you think they're missing, Duster?
They could go Deuce again.
Really?
It's not that bad of a pick here, I think. It's a guy that can take objectives, and I feel like it's like they lack. They need some structure damage right now. None of the heroes are gonna hit a tower.
But Void is open and it's always Void, as it was always Snapfire. They always do the same thing.
I don't see them taking any objectives so far.
Void is pretty strong against Pango, though, whereas Duset is not really, so there's that advantage there. You
It
make
actually
up for the
feels
team
good.
fight.
Yeah. Just you feel like if you miss some chrono damage, but it's good against Pango, it's good against Tiny.
Void is not gonna give you Roche, and they're playing Radiant, so it also feels bad.
Faceless Void.
Duster, why do you doubt them? They can always will Void, as TD said it.
It's personally, I think it doesn't give them. It just gives them playing team fight. Maybe they just wanna brawl with Infinity, you know.
Okay. If you're Infinity, then how do you punish this? You say you hate this. What's the weakness that you exploit?
You can for sure delay the game. If you wanna pick like a more of a heavy carry hero, you can definitely delay the game. They have plenty of lane shoving, and they can defend towers easily against this Void Batrider.
So would you maybe flex the Tiny into... Well, you already said you wanted to, right? You flex it into like a less protagonist role and you pick a different carry here that can match against the Void?
You can still go Tiny Core here, I guess. He's gonna lane well against Sand King. Actually beat Sand King in lane.
Yeah.
And he can split push very well with Shadow Blade, Blink Dagger. He has some ability.
It seems like that's what they're going to go for, as they pick up a Tide last, as maybe PP Pangolier. That is one of his favorite heroes as well, so definitely suits him. Now, I'm going to ask you first, Duster. What draft do you favor here?
I prefer Infinity this time. I'm gonna go for them. I think their team fight's pretty strong, and I don't see Thunder abusing the advantage they're gonna have. I think they're gonna have some advantage by winning lanes, but I don't think they can abuse it very well. Like they're not gonna take Roche, they're not gonna take your towers. They can keep fighting, and Infinity proved us that they fight pretty well.
Astini.
Infinity
gonna
has
stay with
a
Infinity?
better draft, but I think Thunder is gonna win because even with the best draft, like Thunder showed like that they can win very well against a better draft. But they made mistakes on the second game, which I don't think they're gonna repeat. So I'm gonna change sides here, going for Thunder.
Okay, I feel like Duster's decision was factored into your decision here, Astini, and your real role is to just screw over your co-panelist, but I'm going to let that slide. The panel wants to get divided. Will Thunder take it? Will Infinity upset this best of three? We're going to have to see as we go over to our casters for Game 3 for the last time. It's going to be DKTruman and D2 Bowie.
Yeah, Bowie, a couple of stolen heroes coming here. The Batrider and Shadow Demon for Thunder Awaken. It's going to be an interesting draft. I mean, we've done our predictions beforehand as well. Who do you think is going to be able to take this final game in this best of three?
I don't think Infinity's draft is bad by any means, but I feel like they didn't address some of the real problems that they're gonna face with what Thunder Awaken has. This like Sentient Mirana is very, very scary. They also have SD into Arrow, Chrono into Arrow, Lasso into Arrow. The tempo that Thunder Awaken can put into Infinity is hard, and the only hero that can like showing lane and protect towers is this Tidehunter. But even then, like Chrono is going to trample is the spell thingy. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like Tiny might struggle at getting lane, and we saw how sad this hero can be. Like he was definitely not the carry in game 2, and I'm just scared for Rises. I feel like he's gonna, if they're gonna win this game on Infinity, Rises has to like play out of his mind. He has to like not always be in position to not take burrow strikes into arrows, and if he can get big enough, I do feel like they can win. Duster did point out that there's literally no push coming from Thunder Predator, and later on this Tiny just 6-hit barracks and shit. So that's gonna be very scary.
I actually have mad respect for Rises after that atrocious game on Tiny that he still was playing the hero. A lot of people would have decided to just forego on playing the hero completely after such a rough game, though. Pakas steals the bounty. Nice yeet, however, is getting slowed down by the Gush. He's in a little bit of trouble. They do find first blood onto Peepee, who will be missing possibly a couple of creeps in the mid lane, but bottom, no kill coming through. But yeah, nice opener coming in. I guess they went for a burrow arrow combo, and that was an easy pickup onto Peepee. But yeah, you did mention
the combo.
some very nice
The combo I mentioned, dude.
combos on the side of Thunder Awaken. The only thing I'm a little bit afraid of is that they might be lacking some chrono damage.
Yeah, it definitely depends on how they fight. I think that the chrono damage is sacred, pretty much sacred in the Mirana. So if the Void plays around those heroes, if it doesn't like show up late for a fight where those heroes already used their spells or are dead, they should have chrono damage. The lane is like okay for the Tide, so I think this is really how Infinity can win this game. Make sure Pakas, this hero struggles to get range creeps, and if they can trample this lane, that's how Infinity can look good. The Void, just jungling, not really feeling like brawling, and that might buy enough time for Tiny, and then I think that is a really good matchup overall for the Tiny.
There's a lot of aggressive tickling coming out. Mid lane, Peepee versus Dark Mago, Pango versus Bat, a lane that, well, is definitely pretty rough on both parts, because there is definitely a ton of kill presence and potential. Same thing with the top lane. I mean, Sand King, Mirana, obviously, burrow into Arrow is enough to easily get a kill. There is the burrow into the Arrow, leap up on top. Rise is taking a lot of damage. Can he get away? No, he cannot. Another kill coming through. And with, of course, those Caustic Finale hits as well, it forces Prada onto, well, regen territory. So that top lane is already struggling.
That's my whole point. This is such an annoying combo, and like they decided on keeping the Tiny, like they actually first faced this Tiny. I think there could be better heroes to stand up to this combo. Like, I was looking at the win rate in this patch, and Sand King Mirana has like 75% win rate across all DPC regions. So it really is annoying, not only in lane. And you know, Tiny is a ganky boy, but he has no armor, so this Mirana harasses him constantly, and eventually they can just go for the combos.
Yeah, definitely a rough scenario. I mean, that lane, it should not struggle as much. Death Prophet's also not really a great position 5 support against those heroes specifically, because you can immediately see, like, he Spirit Siphons the Mirana, she leaps away. Okay, that Spirit Siphon completely wasted. Same thing with the Sand King, he just burrows away in case that happens. And yeah, the DP just... I know a lot of DP position 5s get played, but the hero does not save your safe laner at all.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, when they first phase the Death Prof into DSD, like, it's fine as long as you're willing to play the DP as 5. Because, like, what really counters DP, besides Shadow Demon, is burst damage, which they have a lot of because of these combos. But playing the Tiny as scary, you know, it's probably very greedy. So it's going to be on PP and this Tide Hunter that were, you know, picked later on to the draft to really just deal with this early game, because that lane top, I just expect the worst. I don't think it's gonna be much better than what is currently is right now.
If they can stay alive, that's already a big plus. In mid, PP versus Dark Mago, a lot of spam, of course. Magic Wand on PP, which you'll get a lot of charges on, so he'll at least be able to return the damage onto Dark Mago. But you know, the 6-minute runes is when they're both going to be very threatening with level 6s. Rolling Thunder versus Lasso. There's a ton of kill threat coming in, especially if you've got, as previously mentioned, the Lasso into Arrow combo that Thunder Awaken have an easy setup for. Speaking of Arrow combo, top lane Prada gets Burrow arrowed. And underneath the tower, they're bringing so much threat to that lane. Look at how behind the tower in the trees they're trying to farm up.
Yeah, I mean, this hero has 0 armor. Usually melee carries, they don't really care about being pushed into the tower like this, but Tiny with that 0 armor actually does take a lot of damage, even though he has damage block. But the bottom lane is looking like it's doing okay. But right now, all of the cards in Thunder Awaken ahead, so not a great sign.
To be fair, the laning stage just in general in the games was a bit rocky for the side of Infinity. Yeah. So
nice Tiny joke.
Unintentional, but yeah, in general, Infinity, like Thunder Awaken's laning stage is just sublime. They choose their heroes for the most part for their laning stage as well. I mean, Faces Void slightly less so. But their offlane combo in both games, it's just so much kill threat between them, and that's really what they love playing.
I would agree. Now both mid laners having level 6. We didn't really see any rotate. Well, as I say that, they do rotate Mirana here. 6 minute is the time the tri-lane mid starts, so we will see most supports actually rotating, and there is level 6 on both sides. So I would assume a fight will happen right now.
Double damage picked up by Prada. Dark Mago gets the lasso off. Arrow lands onto the wrong one, but Dark Mago stays alive in the process. Rotation coming in from Pandamu. And actually, Prada is now just gonna die. I don't really know why he was still so aggressively trying to take a fight.
Yeah, he felt like he had the advantage. It was pretty close, but nice lasso from Dark Mago. And he does tank up. I think he was also very scared of committing the swashbuckle on PP. He had it the whole time, but if he does miss it, he dies. So, you know, maybe a bolder player would have gone for the swashbuckle. I think it was enough to get the kill on the bat. We'll see if it's going to become a problem or not. Overall, kill advantage, but the net worth, you know, still pretty reasonable. I don't think it's a problem that Thunder Awaken is ahead early on. Both drafts look pretty decent in the mid game.
Well, definitely a little bit of a trade-off. Both offlaners top on the board right now, and not really any big struggles. Matthew, of course, on the Mirana, kill plus 3 assists does give him a decent amount of an edge over Pamplona. And yeah, the Death Prophet just mainly had to send in a ton of regen. But Rises' lane is going better than last game, so that is already a winning situation.
Definitely. He also just died once to that combo. I think, as he gets more levels, he gets tanky enough where the damage Sacred's not going to scale as fast as Rise's HP. So it will be less likely for them. They're going to have to bring more heroes, basically, if they want to kill this Tiny. It can't just be the Sand King and Murata.
Tiny got his ulti, but do you see his armor increased?
Yes, but it's probably a replay bug. Happens all the time.
Okay, so yeah, for me it shows only +3, which is weird. But yeah, that's just one of those very fun Dota is still a beta game kind of situations. Though mid, Dark Mago gets rolled upon, and a quick kill comes through, which is pretty big to try and get that lane control.
Alright. So the aggression here, I like that Infinity, they're actually sending their supports towards mid quite a bit. It felt like in those other games, they were kind of focused a lot on stacking or doing other things. And these rotations, sure, the first one didn't really accomplish the kill, but now they do get it. And, PP, he's scaling. He's going to get the Diffusal Blade. It's actually very annoying versus the Batrider, because even if he gets the lasso off, as long as he's low, the displacement is not going to be there, which is huge.
And it's also a bunch cheaper these days. I actually am wondering what kind of Pangolier build we're going to get to see on PP, or if it's going to be like the Aghanim Scepter build. I would assume that is going to be the case this game, just because it does give you more of that team fight control. Later on you get the Basher added in on top, and you're just a nuisance rolling around the entire fight.
I think he gets Blink this game. I feel like there's a lot of value if he doesn't get Chrono, just rolling Thunder, blinking on top of whoever Void is attacking. Like, you protect him until there's BKB. But the early Blink, not only enables him to play more aggressive with the Deepfu, but it also protects people in Chrono. So maybe that's something he thinks about, but the Eggs is also very powerful. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I mean, you could go, why not go both? Right, just get the Diffusal, the Blink,
yep.
and the Ags. While you're at it, you're a mid laner, you're allowed to get farm.
Void going for the Mask of Madness. Now, that's not an item, Faceless Voids. I think, like, if you would watch K1 play, he almost always gets Maelstrom instead of the Madness. So I'm very curious as to why he thinks this is the right item, especially against the Tidehunter. You're going to get a lot of her base damage drained. But overall, he's having a good game.
It's actually kind of funny. The Hill Troll Berserker breaks the Faceless Void so he can't get Time Lock procs, which slows his farm down quite significantly.
Yeah, sad days for the Void. They're actually trying to use this catapult here with the smoke. This could be huge.
PP chase it as well. Going in. Silence on top. Aka's in trouble. They blow the Ravage, Rolling Thunder, Mortimer's Kisses, Exorcism. 4 big cooldown ultis just used. They get the kill, they get the tower, and they got what they came for. But that is a lot of commitment.
Usually, I think this play would be really bad if the catapult mid was still alive, but they actually did a good job of killing the catapult before going for this play. There's so little push on the side of Thunder Awaken that they can't really abuse these cooldowns being committed, right? So much hate coming from Infinity. But there's not a lot Thunder Awaken can do. So I think this is nicely observed by Infinity. They don't care about popping all of their spells this game. Because what are they going to do? Like, sure, they can Chrono, kill someone. They're not going to take a tower out of Infinity unless everyone dies.
And a very important factor is this game, Pakaz is not playing on like a stupidly good farming hero like a TA or a Dusa, even though Faceless Void still farms nicely because of the innate time lock farming mechanic, but it's not anywhere as fast as those other two heroes mentioned. So if they annoy him a little bit more, they could keep his net worth low. And well, currently Rises is also not the most farmed, but the rest of the team is looking pretty good. Mariano is going for the Blink dagger next. BP, same story, also going for the Blink, not finishing up the Diffuser, it seems. They are going to go in on Prada. Nice arrow landing on top. And they know there are no ways that they can really contest the fight right now.
This is a Moonlight Shadow with Blink, so they have enough. I don't think they can cure Rises, even if they go for it.
He also has
He
raindrops,
does-
so he's pretty survivable. PP lassoed by Dark Mago, jumping from Pacaz. PP swashbuckle to the side, trying to get the Rolling Thunder going, but will not be able to get it off. And Pamplona, he just walked into his death. Because they find 2 quick kills, and they know there is no Ravage to interrupt them.
Yeah, pretty weird, honestly. They don't have Ravage, so does Snapfire knowing the core was dead? I don't think there was any need to jump to that. But as it stands, you know, the tower taking abilities of Thunder Awaken are mediocre at best. So they can go for they can make mistakes on Infinity and they're not gonna get punished. The problem is if they get out farmed, which I also don't think they should. They have this tiny over the void that you clearly mentioned farms very slowly. And now they have all of their spells. I would really like to see Infinity congregating mid, using that Ravage in the kisses to just get kills, get towers. Their draft is made for it.
Time is money.
They're smoking
Do smoke,
up.
but that's a bad. Yeah, yes. Don't go to the Mirana. That's a bad kill. Go mid.
Towards Panamu. Also not the best kill. Supports, go away.
Just hit tower. Hit tower with one hero and protect whoever is showing.
Oh, they do again spot Matthew, but he's got one more leap on top. PP's, oh, nice FP coming in.
no.
The Puro on top. PP is going to get arrowed, and that's a huge kill. The silence comes in return. Matthew in the back end, but all the kisses miss, and Pamplona is now going to get jumped by the rest of Thunder Awaken. He's trying to get the shotgun in, but Matthew just walks in the opposite direction. 2 kills secured, and a great move coming out from Sacred right there with the Epi Burrow. Oh, another one. Making plays.
Sorry.
Is under attack.
Yeah, it's just a bad play from Infinity. Like, they have everything they need. They know they can force mid-tower. But for some reason, PP and the support just dives in with no vision in that cliff. It was pretty obvious that someone was missing, so... not a fan of the moves they're making.
Rises, getting burrowed upon. Luckily enough, there's no arrow to land on top. And the very weird... what's the thing called again?
The Wild Wing dance move.
Yeah, the Wild Wing slide coming through.
Yeah. The wild... Wait. Moonwalk, Wild Walk. Yeah, it doesn't really sound well, so... Just forget I ever tried to make a... I tried to make something out of that.
Don't worry, we'll work on our dance moves.
They have Ravage, they have Catapult, Infinity. They could just force this tower if they want to. Sure, they're still Chrono, but as long as Mariano is the only one tanking it, they do have, the means of fighting.
Radiant's middle tower
But
is
it looks like they
under
want to wait this Diffusal Blade recipe on Pango, which I don't blame, but I also feel like they're not taking as much out of the map as they should. Like, this is already becoming a 4K gold lead. The Void is out farming a Tiny. Like, that should never happen.
Yeah, because Mask of Madness, Maelstrom done. I mean, this is the moment where he's got his farming tools. Mariano in mid. They're going in for the Tidehunter, which normally is a pretty tanky hero, but slowly but surely gets melted while they play the distraction. Actually, Sacred going in for PP and Prada. Does keep them at bay, and Mariano does eventually die. Did not blow his Ravage, still has it, and a buyback available, but you really don't want to use it at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Ooh, baited by the illusion. Got him. And PP's got the Diffusal, but...
There's
honestly,
BKB on this Dark Mago.
oh, Dark Mago with the lasso. Prada does have the Spirit Siphon going on, so he's actually healing nicely, but the Sacred gets a double. The Kisses of Death coming out, though, from Pamplona in return, but behind is Pacaz saying hello, goodbye. Pacaz, does he get taken down? Rises, great kill coming through. Sacred would be a huge one, though. He's on a 7-kill streak at the moment, but Sacred is just too elusive.
Yeah. Thunder Awaken, they like to go for these dives. I don't think that was very necessary. You know, you get a couple of kills, your team pushes really slowly. You would like to just hit the mid-tier 1 tower. But they do buy some time for Rises. He's still like being heavily outfarmed by Pakaz. I feel like Void should never be at this level of farm compared to a Tiny, which makes the game very good. They're gonna smoke again. Chrono still available for this Faceless Void, but he's not involved in the smoke move.
Well, they do have that blink, of course, on the Tide available still as well. Most of their spells, Exorcism, Rolling Thunder in a second on PP. I think he used it towards mid previously, but he cancelled it when he got taken out. When Prada got lassoed. That was a weird mechanic. I still have no idea. Like, he rolled and immediately cancelled it in the middle at the first 3 seconds. Ravage gets blown onto a BKB bat, and Dark Mago just flies away. That is a huge wasted ulti.
Yeah, that was not great. He was Fireflied, so I think he actually saw that coming. On the Batrider, you do get the extra vision, right? So, unfortunate. Once again, feels like this early mid game is not Infinity's strong point, or Thunder Awaken is just too good.
I think it's the latter.
Both.
I think Thunder Awaken are just really good at the laning stage game.
It's not just the laning stage though. I feel like they get out of the laning stage okay, but they really struggle to use those small little advantages. They always wait for the big items, which is often a mistake. Tiny though. Sorry, Tide does
B going in. That is another kill onto Mariano. But Pakaz in the meantime solo kills off Prada, who uses Exorcism, which is another big wasted ulti. Yeah, they're just not getting anything done here on the side of Infinity. All their ultis are pretty much like the only big usage of it that they got correctly was when they threw 4 at the bottom lane to get a kill. Though now in return they find Matthew. Disruption onto Rises, keep him at bay. The Rolling Thunder on the side on to Dark Mago, but he pops the BKB, so he's going to be just fine. Has a lasso available, looking to grab PP possibly, but spots Prada in the process. Burrow comes in, PP Pango needs to swashbuckle himself to safety. Sacred's actually out of mana, which is a bit problematic. Another save coming out from Panamu, who's doing a lot of work on the Shadow Demon. And Prada tries to siphon all the HP in his favor, but will be taken down.
Yeah, Pakaz, you know, he knows he's really farmed, so even without Chrono, he actually walks to that fight. Doesn't feel like he even needs to finish the BKB. I'm even surprised he's going for such a safe build, considering he's having a great game. But after that game 2 loss, I think they just want to play, you know, standard Dodo. Don't play too greedy. Just get the timings that you need and go for it. But Rises is having, you know, he's not having a great game right now, but it's better in game 2. So he can eventually become that tiny menace that just wins the game by itself. Like, it really feels like he can win one fight and Tiny just takes over the game.
Yeah, they do need to get to that point though. I mean, it's also scary because Panda is having a really good game. The Shadow Demon hasn't died a single time. Aether Lens is done. I mean, Prada's got no farm compared to him. And they're gonna smoke out on the Thunder Awaken side of things. I mean, look at Prada, he's 073. That is a very sad death prophet. And a very dead one, because that's going to be 08 and 3. Mariano, run away. Dark Marco is scary, even though Lasso is not the greatest against you. He's still going to do it. Drag you back. Because he actually used Hood of Defiance, it was a little bit more problematic. Dark Mago, the jump comes in. Nice Epi Burrow coming out from Sacred. They did find Dark Mago in the process, though. But Sacred is playing a superb game. Pakaz with the Chrono coming out. Rises Tiny is gone. And Pakaz looking for PP immediately afterwards. Swashbuckle to the side. Does have a shield crash, which will be at least able to get the kill secured onto Sacred. But Pamplona runs a different direction so that they can't catch on to PP. But he's got 3 Shadow Poison stacks. Spirit Vessel Arrow, everything is chasing him down. Can he get away? Nope. He will be ticked down by Matthew in the end on that Spirit Vessel. And another big team fight coming in for Thunder Awaken.
As you said, pressing Hood actually had very big implications there. He was taken aback from his team, and it was a little harder for Infinity to re-engage. And I don't feel like the fights are going to be much easier. As you said, this Death Prophet 5, it is a little bit hit or miss. Sometimes you get those really good games where you just go push with your team. But because they didn't move that much, it just felt like the DP kept tanking ganks and ganks. And at the same time, the Tiny isn't farming as fast as the Void. So just really weird turn of events for Infinity. But Thunder, they can't really pressure objectives. They can't really force tier 2. They can't really force Roche that well. The Tide will die.
Well, that's his fourth
They're
death.
just bleeding too many
He's
kills.
going to go for the Refresher Orb, though, so that is double Ravage, always a very big threat later down the line. If you can add in the damage on top, which I'm starting to get a little bit scared of. Tranquil Boots dropped in. Okay, Sacred's just keeping them there.
Efficiency.
I mean, to be fair, where does he really put those Tranquil Boots? He's got, like, claw feet.
I mean, don't feed shame the guy. He can just carry them, you know? It's a present. It's not for him.
It would be hilarious if they actually caught him by surprise and jumped in the roach pit there, stealing away his Tranquil Boots. Oh, lasso drag. Bye, Tiny. His team's like, yep, nope, you're gone. Tiny safe lane is not his most fun time today.
Yeah, I would agree. This game is weird. Like every single game, it felt like Infinity had the same problem. Whether they lose their lanes or whether they go even, they really struggle to make moves. And Thunder Awaken just did moves, and you start to get advantage. Like the towers were down for Thunder Awaken, but somehow it felt like Infinity was the team that was kind of locked on their side of the map, just because they felt scared. Once again, Thunder Awaken just doing what they're supposed to. It feels like they have to kind of throw this game a little bit for Infinity to come back. It's not like that game where you could see the win condition on the Shadow Demon and the Dark Seer countering the Dusa. This game with the Tidehunter last pick, I don't see the same potential. Sure, this is Refresher, could be something, but he's kind of ways away still.
Yeah, they're trying to get their farm in the meantime. Flanking from behind, Exorcism gets used by Prada. Does they get their tier 2 tower down in the meantime, but they will find themselves rises, of course. The Tiny will be caught out. Epicenter will not even be used because they realize it's not necessary to kill off the Tiny, who is just really not having a great game.
Yeah. Not a fan of the way they first faced the Tiny ADP there. All looking good for a reason, right? If you're first phase, the heroes are going to get countered, so that's usually why you...
The pick of going for the Death Prophet into a Shadow Demon still feels weird for me. Like,
but it's a DP5, like it's okay, but the Tiny is a much higher priority.
But then
Tiny is really
the enemies know that you picked a DP5, so you're gonna lose the lane. Oh, Dark Mago pops the BKB. Speaking of the DP5, Spirit Siphon to try and stay alive. Swashbuckle comes in, almost gets the kill. Dark Mago's on the run. Just barely.
Jinx him!
Oh, he ground hit. Oh no, Rolling Thunder PP, can he get it done? Blink back. Oh, PP gets chronoed by Pakaz, and of course I didn't jinx him.
That was really close from jinxing him. But yeah, that was painful to watch. Feels like PP. Yeah, struggling. Also, really good game from Dark Mago. There's a reason he was known for this Batrider, just doing really well, creating chaos around the map. The Tidehunter doesn't feel enough to like deal with him. The lassos still feel actually pretty impactful, despite the Tidehunter being the target of some of those.
I just can't believe that Dark Mago survived that, though. Honestly, Panda is playing a stupidly good game on the Shadow Demon. 6-0-11. Has saved his teammates a multitude of times.
This Shadow Demon hero.
Yeah, it's
Two
a
games
pretty
where he
good
looked
hero.
really, really good.
I mean, that's the thing about Shadow Demon. It counters so many heroes in the game, just from existing. Like, there are a lot of heroes, of course, like the Abaddon makes it tough for, like, Batrider and such, but Shadow Demon does that, but also, as the panel mentioned, has offensive capabilities, which a lot of those saving heroes do not have.
Yeah, that is very true.
Dyer's bottom
Especially when you start the laning stage as well as he did. You know, you get that early Aetherlands, and then this hero becomes this menace, right? You're just casting spells from fog. The enemy doesn't know what's going on. It gets really hard to close the gap on him, even though they have like a fair amount of mobility on this Spangle plus Tide.
Yeah, they do have
Refresher,
a
though.
refresher done. And
That's the time. They gotta go.
Ace
I
is
think
gone
if they
in
wait...
30 seconds.
Okay. Let's hope they don't find a void.
Well, they're finding the Shadow
Oh,
Demon
no.
and the Mirana, which means they'll, I guess, kill off the Shadow Demon, which is a 6-kill streak, granted. In comes the Epi from Sacred, though, completely wasted. Burrow to the side, tries to disengage Mariano, used his first Ravage, which resulted into not much because Rolling Thunder comes up on top. That's a big Ravage, but that was the Aegis that he still had for only a couple of seconds left. Dark Mago, BKB, he's just burning them to a crisp. Oh my god! Still finds the kill regardless, but that was the greatest flame break I've seen in a long time. Knocks them both out of the chrono, but who cares? They're still going to get jumped and chased down. Mariano's second Ravage doesn't I mean, it was a great move, but the problem is you just wait 10 seconds longer and that Ravage comes out. Perfect game.
Yep, I agree. They were just a little bit too hasty. They even, like, once again, they smoked from low ground. I think they didn't take the right path. They should have used the other stairs on the left side. They're just walking through all of this high ground, and that's bound to happen against a good team. They will have heroes counting those areas, and no, that's not the reason they're gonna lose this game. I think they lost this game partly because of draft, partly because their laning stage was not good enough. But it could have been, you know, that spark that we saw in game 2, where with some kills they kind of revived.
Yeah. In this situation, there's just they don't have that same level of threat.
Yeah.
It's the Tiny just can't bring anything really to the table. In this situation, they're gonna go
That's
for
hard to
Picas.
say, right? Tiny don't bring enough.
Yeah, that you know that something's really wrong with your draft if Tiny can't bring the damage. Lasso comes out, drags back PP, who of course is the only one that really could do anything in the fight left because there was no Ravage available. Dark Mago just flying around with that haste rune. Mariano is going to be left last to drop, and I assume we get to see a nice little GG call coming in because I mean, no, still not. Okay.
They're gonna have double Ravage when Tide spawns, my dude.
Yeah,
They
but
don't push
they're
fast.
23k net worth behind.
Yeah, alright, so 30 seconds for BKB on Void and 34 seconds on Refresher. So unfortunately they don't have that window. Prada.
Does die, so they don't have Prada for the next fight
Dyer's bottom
or their base.
That is overrated. I prefer Gucci. Much better brand, I think.
Honestly, never owned either, so I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know what
I'm more of that like $5 shirts in the in the cheapest store you can find. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't have any Prada shirts. They do have good perfume though. Okay, Mariano, it's time. It's time for the Ravage.
There we
Bam!
go. That's the first one. Second one on top. They're throwing everything at the same time as they can, but they do still find the kill on Picas. Finally, they find a big one. But Sacred Pops' BKB going in. Rises is dropping down just from the Sand King. The arrow flies through. Is going to fly just off the mark. Sacred will eventually still get taken down. Double buyback actually coming out from Thunder Awaken, which is an interesting move, which I don't really think is super necessary, but still they're going to jump in because, I mean,
Don't die back.
I'm getting a
Yeah.
little bit worried. Jump in, but he gets 3-man chrono, and now he should finish it all off. PP doesn't have the Rolling Thunder just yet. I mean, they are gonna win, but honestly, Thunder Awaken, like, they're giving them the opportunity to possibly turn it around. Gave them.
I mean, this was the first series that they lost, right? So I definitely saw a little bit of clowniness popping up here and there. If maybe this was a better team, you know, if it was Beast Coast, I'm sure there could be windows where Infinity or a better team could have abused. But as it stands, Thunder Predator is still undefeated. I guess they didn't lose a single series, they did lose a game. And I mean, still, really good showing from Infinity. I don't feel like they're going to be the team that drops down to the second division again. This team, like, they grew a lot. They were bouncing back from Division 2 Division 1. They definitely matured, and they're slowly getting there. You know, give these guys 6 months, and maybe they could have actually taken this game.
Yeah, definitely a very solid performance coming out from the team. But, you know, when it comes down to the laning phase, and especially the early parts with the rotations from the supports, Thunder Awaken definitely looked a lot better in, honestly, all 3 games. So, you know, that's definitely something that they need to work on. And the Tiny. Also something that they safely Tiny, not really their forte, at least not so far. So, but yeah, there's a lot more to discuss about this game, and we'll head it over towards the panel. We'll break it down for you. I think.
You thought right, Truman. We're here with the panel. Steedy, how do you do it? What's your secret, my man? Is it a hair product you use? What is something you eat in the morning? So what is it, Astini? How do you predict correctly every game? Oh, repeat that because that was pretty good, Astini. Please. Oh, okay. Sorry, we lost Astini here. Duster. You trusted Infinity this time. They failed you. What happened in that game that led to that situation?
First of all, they just got outplayed hard in lanes. For example,
Yes.
Tiny wasn't
Again.
supposed to lose the Sand King so hard, especially with DP. DP is great against strength heroes. She should have been a better lane overall. And there's something with this thing that they want to pick every fight possible. And this was a good game for them to split and chill a bit. Like, the enemy team had 0 siege. It took them like 17, 18 minutes to took a tier 1 tower on mid lane. Like, they could have done so much more in the map, but instead they just kept throwing bodies at mid lane.
Do you think that that a lot of there was a fight as well, for example, when they remember the fight past the tier 1 where they had the Ravage and there was an Aegis right there, the Void, and then they're like, we failed our initiation, we don't have Mortimer's Kisses. Actually, you know what? Second Ravage, let's go. And then they lose the fight because they get Chrono, right? So I do see what you mean. There are a lot of situations where you're like, just go back. Do you think that comes from maybe 4 of the players being more inexperienced? Like, Apita, sure, being a shot caller, but the general team being more of they haven't really experienced at this high level just yet? Or is this something you learn over time? Did you learn this, Duster? Were you like this before when you were younger?
No, you definitely learn over time. Like, when you're a fresh team or you're like a fresh player in general, all you're thinking is fighting. And you think if you cast spells better than the enemy team, you're gonna win. So that's the mentality around here. And they did. They tried to fight every skirmish it had, but just there's more options indoor. You know, there's a big map for you to play out, and I think they should definitely seek and try to find other ways of playing instead of just throwing bodies.
Sure. Steny, would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I do agree that with time they will get more experience. And I go back to the first answer that the live didn't get because I was muted. How do I get it? Is people say the more you lose, the more you learn. And I've lost a lot. So I've had my share of experience, and I guess they are getting there, so they're on their way. They seem pretty good, but yeah, it's good when your points of improvement they're very clear because you know where to head to. The problem is when you're losing and you have no clue. And I guess they do have some good info on how to improve.
That's exactly why Astini is better than CL8 and Heen as well, right? Because you've lost more. You've gathered that experience. Huh?
Yeah, I'm way more experienced. They didn't lose, like, I lost at least 40 major qualifiers. They didn't lose that much. Like, they are not experienced
Yeah,
as me.
one even one TI. Like, what is he gonna do with that? No
Yeah.
experience there.
Yeah. What's the point in winning? Like, what do you learn with winning?
Someone who does not have much experience with losing either is Mr. Panda, who always loves coming for these interviews, and we do have another interview with him yet again. So let's move on to that. Let's check out. Panda is getting too comfortable in these interviews. I need to stop interviewing him. He's way too based now. It reminds me. I feel like I'm interviewing an NA player right now. Every time I get him on my on this time. I'm really hoping that no bias here, but I'm hoping the team just beats him 2-0 and he gets brought down a peg. This man, he was always rising. What would you tell him, Astini? I'm sure you've dealt with your fair share of egos. What do you say there?
I think it's fair that he has that, but when he goes to a LAN, that might change. But it's good to have this confidence, to be honest, I guess.
Yes.
You need this. It's something Hector told me, like when we qualified to the We Play Book of El Minor, he was like, man, they're human also, they make mistakes also, you don't need to think they're so good. Like, just do your best.
Yes. He also told me something similar. I don't think it was that nice, Bastini, what he told you, judging by what he told me, but it was along those lines, so I see what you mean. Duster, about yourself. Do you feel like there's a moment, especially when you're like one of the rising talents, because you were at that point as well once, right? Do you feel like there's a lot of strength to that confidence that it helps you play better as well?
Yeah, because you're also experiencing the scene fresh, so you really don't have much of expectations or who's strong and who's weak. You gotta play everyone for the first time, and if you have confidence, it's really nice. When you play people for the first time and you believe you're better and you get ahead, that's awesome. Like, it's how you keep rising as a star. You know.
How did it feel back then when you were on? Was it? I forgot the name of the org, the Brazilian team that you were on. Was it SG or Pain?
Pain gaming.
Yeah, when you were on Pain, how did it feel? Was it fun when you were discovering the scene for the first time?
Yeah, it was insanely fun. Like, you go to events, you see these pro players in person for the first time, you play them against them, and then when you go to these tournaments, you also can do a boot camp and you start screaming and you start winning against them. You build even more confidence. Like, you realize that this guy that you are watching like some time ago, it's not only human, he can be worse than you after you beat him on screens. So that just helps a lot.
Do you see any players, like, did you used to have players as heroes before, Duster? Like, were there certain players that you really admired?
There's a few players that I used to admire before I played them. After playing them, the magic kind of disappears. You know, after you play against all these guys, you kind of don't see them as stars, more as competitors. You know, as your enemy.
Yeah, sure. And with that, I think that's a really nice closing remark. That's one of the advantages of having a wonderful pro like Duster on the panel. He gets to tell us some of the insight, which Panda will get to experience 6 years down the line. He'll learn this. Do not worry. Duster's matured for Panda here. With that said, guys, we hope you enjoyed the broadcast today. We hope you enjoyed the matches. It was a really exciting best of 3, much more than we were expecting. Infinity actually gave them a run for their money in that second game, as Panda said, a meme of a game because of the build that he clearly talked to Pakaz about. As we close today, we do remind you guys that we have more Division 1 tomorrow. We start 3 hours earlier tomorrow, which, as per usual, 1 second, I gotta do the calculations. It's 7 p.m. CEST, 6 p.m. if you're in Portugal, 8 p.m. if you're in Russia. It's gonna be 3 p.m. Sorry, if you're in the East Coast, and if you're in the West Coast, I'm sorry, I don't know. But if you're in Malaysia as well, it's gonna be 3 a.m. like us. So yeah, let's join us for some nice morning Dota. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast today. My wonderful panel. Thank you, Astini. Thank you, Duster. Always giving me the most insightful comments. And we'll see you again tomorrow with some more South American Dota. Until next time.